Last episode, in our first ever basketball game, we saw two players get over 40 minutes, and that's not something that I want to see happen on a regular basis. I don't think we have a caliber of player that should be out there for 40 minutes in any given game. Not saying that PJ Washington and Anunoby played poorly. I just think both for longevity purposes as well as just playing to the level of their talent, we don't need them out there for 40 minutes. And so to hopefully help combat this, we're going to add a 10th man into the rotation. We had only 9 guys out there in the first game. Going to give KJ Martin the chance to go out there and earn some minutes, another forward into the rotation. Both the guys that played 40 plus minutes were playing at the forward spots. KJ Martin is a combo forward, so I think giving him about 16 minutes a game will be something that will help keep these players fresh throughout the season. And that's going to get us ready for our home opener in Rogers Arena, playing there for the first time in our brand new franchise's history. Let's get into the game.
Gonna be a tough matchup facing the former MVP and just one of the best players in all of basketball in our home opener here. Also the team that made probably the biggest acquisition in the offseason in Paul George. A fun matchup here to start our home season with and get to see our fans for the first time. They gave us a D in our home court advantage. Gotta prove them wrong here. Have the fans show out and support this team. PJ Washington, just like the last game, is the first one to score for us here in our home opener. Both teams trading some threes here early, but now Billy looks to go in the post. OG on him, but you'd think that's a really good matchup for Embiid, but OG is just a really, really good defender as we miss the transition opportunity here. Now it's Philly with their own transition, and Gordon gets the bucket inside. Lonzo Ball, the leading scorer from our last game, misses his three-pointer there. Green with the screen, pulls up off of it, and rattles around and in. He had a shot like that last game, too. It looked like it was a miss, but ended up finding its way home. Embiid in the post, Jalen Duren on him, and it's the nice post fadeaway to fall. He's a very tough matchup down low as Ball misses another three. He took 17 in the first game. 5 for 17 if I'm not mistaken. No, that's just not something we want at that kind of volume. I think only Steph should be shooting threes at that kind of volume with any sort of consistency. Step back in the mid-range though. We'll take that. 14-11 for the Sixers here as we head to the midway point of the first quarter. Missed by Maxey, but the putback by Embiid. And Anunoby, he's a big topic of conversation. We need to learn how to get him more involved in the offense here. We're going to take a look at his tendencies and the plays that we run for him after this game. I wanted more than one sample size of a game before we changed anything, but after this game, we'll see what we need to change as Duren gets a nice finish on the interior. Step back for Eric Gordon. That one is right down the barrel. That's a sweet shot by him. OG trying to drive on Paul George. Worth noting that he does have a pretty tough defensive matchup today. Lonzo forced to create at the end of the shot clock. Happens a little bit too much for my liking here, but he gets that one to go. That's stolen on the interior by Duren. He gets a nice pass ahead. Pass to Green, and Josh Green having himself a nice first quarter here. 8 points already. Pretty much doing half of our scoring here as Embiid hits the mid-range jumper to fall. And he's having a good start. Ball, another good look from beyond the arc, and the three-pointers just aren't falling for him here in the first. He's been able to get the stuff inside the arc to fall. Lamar, the layup is off. Ball once again, shot clock winding down, forced to shoot again. Not terrible shot selection from beyond the arc. Tush is just not there today. He gets another opportunity here. This one is up and in. 23-20 here 2:30 remaining in the first quarter. Maxey pulls up and just shoots in the face of Brogdon, his defender, and gets it to fall. That's a very confident shot here. Now he's stepping back in the mid-range and drills it again. Gets Lonzo off of him defensively and starts going to work. Brogdon trying to answer, and he does. He was excellent. Maybe our best offensive player in the first game coming off the bench, and he gets a good start here in the first. Lonzo heaves it up for the end of the first quarter. 28-24. Overall, not a bad quarter there. We certainly had some dry stretches offensively, but that's to be expected with this team. You know, in theory, I thought a team with good, ball handling, playmaking point guards with shooters around them would be a fun team, a defensive focused team. Duren, excellent finish over Embiid there. But kind of now that I've seen it in practice, I definitely should have gotten this team a little bit more shot creation on the board. That's oversight that, if I could do a redo, I'd have maybe looked for a shot creator or two to add to this team. Almost stolen there, but instead it's a Brogdon flush. Council feeds Embiid inside. Duren just enough defense there to bother the shot. Looked like a pretty clean look there for Embiid. He gets another try here. Deep mid-range fadeaway, and it's up and in. 12 points on 62% for Embiid so far. Yeah, I think this is take that. OG forced to take the three. Once again, a little bit more quiet from him than I would like personally. Offense continues to really run through these point guards, which I'm not sure if we have a better option. I wasn't imagining this team living and dying by Lonzo Ball threes. It's kind of been what the offense has been. It's worked a little bit better when Brogdon has been on the floor, though. He's been hitting his threes a little bit more consistently than Lonzo. He'll be taking some smarter shots from beyond the arc there, although Lonzo's shot selection in this game hasn't been terrible. Brogdon can't get that one to fall off the screen. Shot clock winding down. Josh Green, excellent in the first quarter. First time he's taken a shot since, and it's off the mark from beyond the arc. That's a block by Duren. What a play defensively by the 20-year-old center. One of my questions with him was his interior defense coming in, because it's only a B, and usually you want higher than that for your center, but Jalen Duren's been awesome so far. We get the steal on the next possession. The defense ramping things up here. We just can't get anything to go offensively. Another steal. And Brogdon inside dribbles it out of bounds. Our offense has gone ice cold. But not exactly what we want here in the second quarter. Our defense started really locking down, but our offense literally couldn't get even a single bucket to respond. Duren unable to get the tough finish inside. Tough to finish with Embiid right in your face. Now we're going to Anunoby in the post here. Pump fakes twice, gets Paul George in the air, and gets the bucket to go. Maxey from the baseline. Lonzo Ball on him. He's had a little bit more of a tough time with Lonzo on him, and he gets forced there. Trying to go inside his OG. Some of these passes aren't exactly great. Gordon puts up a three from the corner, and it's up and in. The lead is double digits now for Philadelphia. OG has space from three and gets one to go. Getting a couple buckets here in the second quarter that we really need from him. And Lonzo, his second three-pointer here of the game. Maxey steps up into the mid-range, misses, but the rebound goats of 2K, Andre Drummond, cleans up the offensive glass. Lonzo another three, this one again off the mark. Duren gets us an offensive rebound and a good shot from Washington. Just couldn't find its way home. Transition three from Philly, also off the mark though. Duren matched up on Maxey. Maxey got aggressive with the steal, which was really the move there as OG with the block in the post. He's been a very good post defender in his opportunities. And we get a couple of free throws on the transition there from PJ Washington. Maxey, nice drive inside. 2. OG. Time winding down here in the second. Lonzo hits the corner 3, making it a 2-point ball game. Really, we'll get one more shot, but it's going to be a deep 3 from George. Rims out, and 48-46, a defensive matchup here in Vancouver. Of the vision I had of this team, the one that has come together is our defense. I feel like we've put together really good defensive stretches in these first couple of games. The offensive vision I had, maybe not quite coming together as I had imagined. Embiid gets the second half scoring going here. OG in the post. He did get one bucket there in the first half, but I still feel like it's not his best place to get him a bucket. There, he just kind of got shut down and forced to pass out late. Paul George takes a wild 3 in transition, but in a sea of white jerseys, Joel Embiid comes down with the offensive rebound. George in the mid-range here. OG on him. Got enough space to drill the basket there, and Philadelphia with a 6-0 run here to start the second half. We're trying to get OG in the post again. This time he fades away and it's off. Not sure I'm liking these OG post possessions, even though, again, the first time we did it, it did work for a bucket. I just don't think he really has post moves. The reason it worked the first time is because he had some pump fakes that got Paul George in the air. Lonzo. From the mid-range, tough leaning shot, and he got us a drop. Finally, with 7:07 left in the third, Vancouver scores for the first time. Another just terrible scoring drought. Our defense is keeping us in this game, though, but Embiid able to slip by Duren on that possession. Lonzo. Another 3 up and in for him. George from the wing and answers the 3 right back with one of his own. PJ from beyond the arc. Both teams starting to trade some 3s here as we get past 5 minutes left in the third. 61-54 in favor of Philadelphia as Maxey extends that lead by a bucket. Lonzo trying to answer it right back, and he does. Little point guard isolation duel there. Brogdon from the corner. We get Josh Green open off of a couple of screens, and finally he scores again. He had a really good first quarter and then just kind of disappeared until that moment right there. Martin answers right back, though, in a 3-point barrage here in the third. Middle parts of it, at least. Lonzo, no good on that off the dribble attempt. Maxey tries a very similar one and misses as well. Cam Johnson bringing the ball up for Vancouver, feeding Kevin Love inside, and an acrobatic finish up and in makes it a 5-point ball game. Oubre has space from beyond the arc, and it is in after a couple of bounces off the rim. Thought we got lucky there. Brogdon has space. Brogdon has a triple. He has been very efficient for us off the bench. A big reason that we're able to stay in these games. A little bit of a downgrade defensively from Lonzo Ball with Brogdon, but the upgrade offensively has certainly been nice. 71-66 for Philadelphia going into the final period. 66 points in 3 quarters is just simply not enough. And yeah, it took us nearly 5 minutes to get on the board in the third quarter. We have a major offense problem here in this series. Something that we're going to have to try to figure out a way to fix it. I don't know if it's totally fixable, but we need to find a way to improve it at least. Interior bucket from Embiid. And Duren gets the double, finds a nice pass, but then Brogdon couldn't get the pass, or more likely Johnson couldn't really hold on to it. Brogdon gets another attempt from beyond the arc and drills it once more. Honestly, through 2 games, he has been our best offensive player. Lonzo has had moments, but he has also just had pretty insane volume for us as well. Whereas Brogdon is getting similar production and just much less volume. Lonzo guarding top of the key. Goes to Embiid. Tough fadeaway, and he hits it all the same. He's just pretty much impossible to guard. It's been right around this 10-point lead here for most of the fourth quarter here. Offensive rebound up and in for Jalen Duren. He's had some nice moments for us here. And one of the bright spots in this game for Vancouver for sure. Lonzo, nice drive. Gotta take advantage of the fact that Maxi's not the best defender on that perimeter, but he feeds Embiid on a nice bounce pass there for the slam. Lonzo, tough 3, and he hit it. We're living and dying by the Lonzo 3. Most of the time we're dying, but he does make the occasional nice basket there. OG, another turnover here. There's some nice defense in transition, but it doesn't matter. Paul George hits it all the same. Philly leads by 9. Lonzo, another attempt in the corner, and it's off. Maxey in transition. Tough shot. Missed it, but once again, another transition. Offensive rebound by Embiid leads to a Philly 3. 3 minutes left in this game. Philly leads by 10. Make it 13, and I don't really think this team is even capable of scoring 13 points in 3 minutes. That was really honestly the dagger. With a good offensive team, that wouldn't be insurmountable, but with this team, that was pretty much the buckets that sealed the deal. 99-92. The Philadelphia takes our home opener. This team was competitive, but we just didn't have the offensive juice. Lonzo Ball ends up with 33, 23-point shots. Again, Green was very good, just needed more volume. Brogdon was pretty efficient. Our point guards didn't really rack up the assists, which is kind of the reason that I got these guys. I wanted these guys to be more distributors, get the shooters like Green, Anunoby, Johnson, Joe more shots. That just hasn't been how the offense has played out so far. And then Philly, I mean, Embiid was insane. And Maxey was hot and cold, but there you have it for game 2.
I know I have to update the game here, but we're just going to ignore that for a moment here. As I want to take a look at OG Anunoby and see if we can't make things a little bit better here. This is actually a way of play for us. Post up low, being his play type 1 is just not really going to work for us going forward. I don't think that's a good use of our possessions. However, PNR wing being the second thing, I do like that as maybe his primary play type for now. Handoff receiver I think is pretty fine as well. Cutter and then maybe some isolation. Find him some easy 3-point looks. I think that can be fine. He's been up and down from 3 so far this season, but I think he's certainly good enough. They can be included in one of his 4 play types. So we're going to try PNR wing, cutter, handoff receiver, and 3-point shots here for OG. See if we can get. Now the second thing that we're going to do here, we're going to look at the touches tendency. So far, we have Malcolm Brogdon at the top at 75. I think we're going to up this to maybe somewhere like 82 for OG. Get him some more shot opportunities as well. I typically don't like to update the actual shot tendency or anything like that. How many touches that we give a player is less about a player's personality and more about the scheme that we're running, right? Where all these other ones are more about how the player prefers to play. So how many times we're running plays for him is totally up to us. We're going to raise this up from 70 up to 82. See if we can't get OG involved because we need answers offensively. I don't know if OG will be able to provide those answers. It's not like he's an elite offensive player by any means. But he can at least score at all 3 levels for us. And I don't want so much of the scoring burden to be on our point guards as it has been in the first 2 games of the season. There's one more thing I want to try in relation to our lineup here to try to get some more offensive punch that we desperately need. We're going to swap out Isaiah Joe for PJ Washington here. I think this does make our defense suffer, which has been the strong point of this team so far. Although, yeah, I mean, PJ Washington's not that much. I don't think it's that big of a shift defensively, but it is a pretty big shift offensively. We're going to have OG now play the 4. We're going to simulate our first chunk of the season here with this setup, and we're going to see how it works. I think rebounding is the biggest sacrifice we make with this lineup. We gain a lot of shooting and offense. Of course, the goal of this lineup to increase our offensive output. The other reason I want to try this lineup out is that we are running the Indiana playbook. I like that one just because it's a fast-paced offense that has a lot of the ball handling responsibilities go to the point guard in Indiana, you know, and Tyrese Halliburton, and so I thought that would fit our team well. And Siakam is the power forward in that, and I feel like he gets a lot of opportunities to attack downhill, and I want to give OG Anunoby maybe some of those Pascal Siakam plays. We'll see how this works, if it works at all, but here's the lineup for the next little bit. Obviously, something is still pretty broken with these rotations because I had KJ Martin added to the rotation prior to game 2, and he did not play a single minute. Not that I saw. So I thought 2K had fixed these broken rotations. Apparently they didn't. I will try for next episode. I'm not going to do it right now just because of this. I'm going to try and get one of those custom rotations built for our next game. Did it a lot in the Sound series. I usually wait until the team is competitive to do that, but if the rotations are broken in the game, you got to figure out a way to unbreak them. So we've got a good chunk of the season. I think we might go at least into December, if not all the way through it. I'll let you know whenever we get to the end of our simulation, or until I decide to make a change to the rotation. Lonzo Ball has broken his left leg. Unfortunately, his injury struggles continue here with his new team. That really sucks. I think, obviously we're going to have Brogdon become our starter here. And even though he wasn't technically drafted in the expansion draft, the CPU signed him so we could get to a full roster here. So I'm going to count him as, somebody that is eligible for, playing for us. I don't think that's a super big deal here. Let's go something like this. I think will be good for now. I'd like to see some guys on a hot streak here as we're now a few games into the season. I've picked up a couple wins, but 2-7, still not looking great. Decided to simulate all the way through the month of December here. I think it's time we get going here in year 1. I really want to add some fresh talent onto this team. And as we head into the new year, we are just 10-23. Didn't expect a very good team, and so far we have not been at all. Time to start looking at the player stats, seeing what's going on here. Josh Green leads us in minutes. Nobody getting over 30 minutes a game on this team, so it's important to remember that here. Now, Malcolm Brogdon has been the starter since Lonzo Ball came out. Ever since Lonzo Ball came back from injury, we've kept Malcolm Brogdon in the starting lineup. That's because he's averaging 23 points a game, nearly 10 points a game, higher than anybody else on the team, 9.5 points higher than anybody else. He's shooting 53% from the field and 43% from 3. That is absolutely wild stuff here from Malcolm Brogdon. I was wondering who could step up and be the leading scorer from the team. Brogdon has stepped into that role very nicely. Jalen Duren's second on the team, 13.8 points per game and 10.5 rebounds. Really similar to what he had last year in real life, except the rebounds are down by about 1. Assists, He's also got much lower on the field goal percentage, unfortunately. Apparently he's hit a 3 this year, which is good for him. Isaiah Joe, since stepping into the starting lineup, he's been shooting decently well. 37, it's a little bit low for him after back-to-back 40+% years. Hopefully he can keep that trending upwards. He's only played in 4 games, but Leonard Miller has actually been extremely valuable. Maybe we should keep getting him more minutes. He played in some games when Cam Johnson got injured, but maybe we need to keep him out there. Something we can look to do for next year. So, PJ Washington, 47% from the field, 38% from 3. He's been doing pretty solidly. Lonzo Ball, 10 points per game, 5 assists for him. Sheesh, not shooting well. And speaking of not shooting well, it is not working so far with OG Anunoby. The increased touches are not helping at all. He's shooting 32% from the field and 28% from 3, both easily by a mile his career lows. So something's got to change here with OG. It's not working. Do we trade OG? Do we lower his touches? What do we got to do? I want to hear your thoughts on the OG situation. Of course, we can trade players for picks. We'll have to bring back matching salary, but it'll just be somebody that rots on our bench if it happens. Of course, even his free throws are down. Just not working out with OG. He's used to playing more minutes, but I don't think that's really the culprit here. Just maybe upset that he's not in New York, and it's very possible that he just wants out from our team. Relations are anxious with this player. Maybe it's time that we look to move on from OG, even though we just drafted him with our first pick. I was hoping for a lot better with this player. Kevin Love here in 18 minutes is putting up 9 points a game, shooting kind of what he has lately. He has dropped off from kind of what he has been as a point shooter in the past. Still, I think a valuable asset as a mentor here. Cam Johnson, only shooting 32% from 3. Maybe it's time that we give Leonard Miller a look over Cam Johnson. Maybe see if we can't get something of value for him. Josh Green, only 7 points a game here, but he's shooting pretty well from 3. Maybe he's a player that we can look at his touches and see if we can't up them a little bit. I would like more than 7 points per game from him as a starter. KJ Martin, shooting really well from the field, 59%, just 31% from 3 though. I've had Ricky Rubio play as I showed, and Max Christie has played 2 minutes of basketball for us. Hasn't really done much. We haven't given him a chance yet. As we go along in this season, if we continue to be terrible, probably going to start giving these young players more minutes in favor of these veterans to see if we can't get some better play or just get some good looks at these guys to see if these are guys that we want to plan around in our future. But let me know what kind of you think of the roster, what we've seen so far, as we're not quite to the halfway season, but more than a third, kind of in that maybe 40-ish% area through the season. What should we do? We've also gotten some good information into this prospect scouting. So in the next episode, look forward to me giving you my first impressions of this draft class and having some clips prepared for the best players in this class. I'm excited for it. Hope you enjoyed this episode, even though it was a bit hard sometimes to watch this offense play. I'm trying to find solutions. I want your help to do it. That's all I've got here for the episode, though. See you in the next one. Until then, bring the Blizzard.